Greetings and welcome to the Missoula Cemetery today, especially to my final resting place. My name is Reverend Thomas Lindsay Lewis, American Baptist minister. I was born on Saturday, 5 April 1843, in a log cabin just across the Missouri River from Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. My grandfather, Jesse, who lived to be 107 years of age, was born in the state of Virginia, of Welsh and French Huguenot blood. Even from a young age, I have always been an avid reader, of which my father Ezekiel, being a hard-shell Baptist, did not approve. In 1861, at the age of 19, I joined the Missouri Militia Volunteers, which was commanded by General Sterling Price. Tragically, losing Jim Nugent, my childhood friend, who died at my side in battle, affected me to speak to Frank James, Jesse's brother, about William Jewell Baptist College. I experienced a severe bout of contagious measles. Then, that happening behind me, I re-enlisted in the Confederate cavalry under the command of General Marmaduke. I got myself shot in the back, survived that, to be captured, and then sent to the infamous Gratiot State Prison in St. Louis, Missouri. Enduring foul-smelling conditions, worse rations, and extreme physical abuse, I resolved myself to become a minister of God. In 1866, at 24 years of age, frail health and penniless, I began my studies at the Baptist College in Liberty, Missouri. My main diet of sustenance was corn, meal, mush. 20 years later, while pastoring, my wife, Martha, gave birth to our fifth daughter named Nellie Nanny Ray. The names of our children were in common with the Lewis family horses and cows. In 1887, traveling by train was quite an experience. The Northern Pacific Railroad ran a service twice a month called Immigrant Train. They were made up of sleepers, baggage cars, and the travelers provided their own food, utensils, and personal possessions. Only mattresses and pillows were provided. A large cooking stove was located at the end of each sleeping car. The train trip of over 1,200 miles from St. Paul, Minnesota to Missoula, Montana took 3 long, miserable, sleepless days and, of course, nights. The 30-mile trip from Missoula to Stevensville took 2 days by horse-drawn wagons. Having been previously approved by the Baptist Board and assigned to the First Baptist Church of Stevensville, I was to be paid $400 per year by the board and $300 a year by the church members. We moved to a brand new 3-bedroom house, and the Baptist church was nearby, which still stands to this day. My daughter Nell, in her memoirs, wrote that I stood with aloof dignity before my congregation, a person dedicated to God, that I was an excellent speaker. She was lost in the pride that this handsome man was her father, that I bore a striking resemblance to the portraits of General Robert E. Lee, with a finely set head, gray hair and beard, and the same nobility of nose and brow. Nell fully realized that I was a working partner of the Almighty, and that the church stood ever between her and I, and that sadly, I was never really exclusively all hers anymore. Reluctantly, my darling Nell was resigned to see me in her imagination as a young Tom Lewis of the Missouri River frontier, a 2-gun Santa Fe trailsman shooting from the hip, a Confederate cavalryman, a Colorado teamster, who became the struggling ministerial student in the Reconstruction days following the American Civil War. Our two-story cabin in Stevensville also stands to this day. And during the winter of 1897, we moved to Missoula, to a two-story house at 421 South 4th and Orange Streets. Later years of my life were spent in the classifying of geological specimens and listening to my dearest Nell play classical piano pieces. My last scrawl of words, though most ineligible, wrote in triumph, "Though he slay me, yet I will trust him." From the book of Job, chapter 13, verse 15. Tuesday, 28 February, 1911, I departed this life at the age of 67 years. The Reverend Dr. Allen of the First Baptist Church of Missoula conducted the services, and there was a large attendance. My most loving wife, Martha, has been laid to rest here beside me, to include my darling daughter Nell and her first stillborn child. The words on top of the headstone is a popular symbol of the Woodsmen of the World Insurance Company, formed in December of 1890 and still in existence today with over 845,000 members. They provide a headstone as a part of their insurance policy, and it reads in Latin, Dum tacet clamat, meaning, though silent, he speaks. These words arose again in a song written by Peter Gabriel about the treatment of political prisoners in Latin America during the 1980s. They put you in a box so you can't get out. Let your spirit stay unbroken. May you not be deterred. This is a picture of myself provided by Nell in her memoirs. It's not a very good picture. The top picture is of the church that I served in Stevensville, and the bottom picture is the First Baptist Church here in Missoula. My Bible is still on the pulpit there in Stevensville to this day. This is a reconstructed picture of my house that I have there on 4th Street. This is the top is the full view of my final resting place, to include the smaller ones for my wife Martha and my daughter Nell. This is a close-up picture of the words and the Latin phrase of the woodsman on top. Thank you to each of you most graciously for sharing a small part of my life here today. Go in peace.